Welcome back, everyone. Time for another deep dive. Today, we're looking at something really interesting. High schoolers changing the future of agriculture. Now, when you think farming, maybe you picture tractors and dirt, right? But actually, there's a ton of cutting-edge tech involved these days. We're going to explore a program in the U.S. where high school students are learning exactly that, how technology is reshaping farming. What are they learning, and what kind of future are they building? No prior knowledge needed. We'll break it all down, keep it simple, so stick around.
Yeah, this is a fascinating initiative. The convergence of agriculture and technology, it really holds potential for tackling big issues like food security and environmental problems. In today's deep dive, we'll look at the specifics and maybe shift how we all think about farming a little bit.
Okay, so first up is this program called Farm Beats for Students. It's a collaboration between Microsoft and the national FFA organization that's the Future Farmers of America. Basically, it lets high school and even middle school students experience precision agriculture right in their classroom. Now, precision agriculture might sound complicated.
Right, but it's really just about using modern tech sensors, AI, that sort of thing, to farm more efficiently and sustainably. Smarter farming, essentially.
And the key thing about this program is how it lets young people learn this new field, agritech, hands-on, not just from a textbook.
Exactly, and it's built around a pretty affordable hardware kit and free curriculum for teachers. So, importantly, even educators without a deep tech background can implement relatively easily.
Yeah, the kit itself sounds pretty cool. It's got a micro.bit that's a tiny programmable computer and sensors to measure things like soil moisture, temperature, sunlight. Students actually attach these sensors to plants and collect real-time data about the growing environment.
Right, and then they use Microsoft's Make code, which is a visual block-based programming tool, so it's quite accessible to write programs that use that data.
So, for example, they could program an alarm to go off if the soil moisture drops too low.
Precisely. It's like making the plant tell you, hey, I'm thirsty.
Yeah.
It's a really clear, tangible example of how the Internet of Things, or IoT, works.
But it gets even more advanced, right? There's a data analysis component, too.
Oh, yeah. They able to use tools like Excel to visualize the data they've collected, turn numbers into charts. They even do exercises like using regional climate data to figure out the best place to build a greenhouse.
Wow, so real decision-making based on data. And I read they can even get into AI, like using machine learning.
That's right. For more advanced projects, they can build simple AI models. Imagine training a model to detect nutrient deficiencies or pest damage just by looking at the color or shape of a leaf.
That's incredible. So it's basically an introduction to data science and AI, but through the lens of agriculture.
Exactly. And it's designed to make technology feel approachable, not intimidating. I heard some teachers actually said the coding part was almost the easiest bit for the students.
And this isn't just a small pilot program anymore, is it? It's really expanding.
No, it's scaled up significantly. It started in about 50 schools, but for the 2024 school year, it's in 185 schools across all 50 U.S. states.
Wow, 50 states. So it's in both urban and rural schools.
Yes, and a key feature is its adaptability. Schools can tailor the experiments to address local agricultural challenges. So students might analyze data relevant to their town's specific issues and brainstorm solutions. That's powerful.
That direct connection to their own community must be really engaging, tackling local problems with data.
Absolutely. That experience using tech to address real-world issues around them is crucial for developing problem-solving skills, critical thinking, and the flexibility, adapting to different climates, whether it's the dry West or the humid South. That's a huge strength.
I read about a fun example from a high school in Wisconsin.
Oh, yeah. What were they up to?
They put sensors on cacti they were growing in the classroom, measuring pH, light, moisture.
Okay.
And they programmed it so when a cactus got too dry, it would play music. Apparently, the students loved it when the cactus sang for water.
Huh. That's great. Making it playful like that while still learning about environmental monitoring and basic programming, that's a really smart way to capture interest and encourage active learning.
And it's not just sensors in the classroom. Some schools are using drones, too.
Yes, that's another element. Students learn how to use drones for aerial surveys of fields, checking crop growth, identifying weed patches from above.
I heard an anecdote about a student who was just into flying drones as a hobby.
Right.
And through these lessons, got interested in precision agriculture, did an internship, and even started thinking about specialized college programs. It really sparked something.
That's exactly the kind of impact you hope for. They're getting a real taste of modern farming sensors, plus AI watching over soil and crops. The classroom basically becomes a mini smart farm.
The educational benefits seem huge. Obviously, it strengthens STEM learning, science, tech, engineering, math.
Definitely.
But also data literacy, acting on evidence, real-world problem solving. And it seems to be boosting awareness of future careers, too.
Yes, experiencing how tech is used in agriculture opens up new career pathways they might not have considered. They start seeing themselves as potential smart farming professionals.
And these skills, data analysis, problem solving, they're transferable, aren't they? Useful in almost any field.
Absolutely. There are highly versatile skills demanded across many industries, not just agriculture.
And thinking bigger picture, there's a reason this program is getting attention, right? It connects to global challenges.
It really does. Issues like food security, climate change, they form the backdrop here. With a growing global population, producing enough food stably is critical. Digital agriculture offers a way to potentially boost productivity while using resources, water, fertilizer, more efficiently. That's a key balance.
And with climate change bringing more extreme weather, AI-driven prediction and monitoring could be vital for minimizing damage to crops, right?
Exactly. Think about students learning to integrate weather data with sensor readings to predict, say, water stress in crops and irrigate proactively. That kind of adaptive thinking is essential for the next generation. And that flexibility we mentioned, tailoring projects to local conditions, that also builds resilience and adaptability in the face of climate change.
There's a local angle, too, isn't there? Especially for rural areas.
Yes, that's a really important aspect. When local high schoolers gain skills in sensors, drones, data analysis, it creates opportunities for them to contribute to local farms or related businesses.
So it could help bridge the education gap between urban and rural areas and develop local talent, keeping young people engaged in their communities.
Precisely. It's an effort tackling a complex mix of issues, food, environment, local economies through education. Really quite significant.
And what's next for Farm Beats for students? Is it likely to grow even more?
The potential is definitely there. They're exploring expansion beyond FFA-affiliated schools, possibly integrating it into standard state curricula. There are also online courses available now, so really any school or even individual families could potentially access this learning if they get the kit. We might see Agri-AI become a standard part of education.
Could it go international?
I think so. Food production and climate change are global concerns. The need for this kind of education exists everywhere. You can imagine it being valuable in major agricultural nations, developing economies, but also in countries like Japan, facing an aging agricultural workforce. This model offers food for thought.
So finally, let's reflect on how this might change our perception of farming. It challenges that old image of agriculture being purely physical labor.
Absolutely. It shifts the view towards agriculture cutting-edge technology. Seeing high school students manipulating sensors and code in a classroom that really embodies the future of farming.
Students are combining that traditional experience, maybe touching soil, growing plants, with high-level digital skills like data analysis, building AI models.
It reframes agriculture as a complex, intellectual, and creative challenge. Using climate data and AI as teaching tools in high school, that was almost unthinkable before, but Farm Beats is making it happen.
And you could see agricultural high schools or FFA chapters becoming local hubs for IT talent development, couldn't you?
For sure. Imagine students who are already connected to nature learning, programming, and AI. That fusion could spark some really novel ideas and innovations.
If we start thinking ag, high-tech industry, or the farm in an outdoor lab, that could fundamentally change how society approaches food and environmental issues.
And Farm Beats for students is doing exactly that, planting the seeds for that shift in mindset within the younger generation. It's quite powerful. Outro.
So after this deep dive, has your image of agriculture shifted at all? Hopefully you've gotten a sense of how these two seemingly different worlds, soil and technology, are coming together with huge potential for our food future and environmental solutions. Now, hearing all this, what new possibilities for agriculture come to your mind? Something to think about. 5 seconds of silence. If you enjoyed our discussion today, please consider subscribing and giving us a like or a high rating. It really helps us out.